and welcome to Griffith University News, the self-proclaimed #1 news source on the Gold Coast. My name's Jason Cook, and today I'm joined on the panel by Michelle and China. How have you guys been finding week 12?
It's been pretty stressful, but I actually got a chance to go up to Mount Tamborine on Monday, and I hadn't been there yet, so it was beautiful, and it was just so nice to get away from all the stress and have some nice relaxation.
Oh, lovely. That's normally my tradition. When the GC 600 is on, I get as far away as
Get away from it, exactly.
Totally. What have you been up to, Jana?
I can't believe it's week 12 already. Next week is the last week of school, and then I'm almost done my master's, which pretty much means I'm that much closer to being a genius.
Well done.
So, happy about that.
Excellent. Yes, and I've been doing pretty much more of the same. Now, we've got Rhiannon coming up with some news headlines. Rhiannon.
Thanks, guys. This week, an Austrian daredevil has become the first skydiver to break the sound barrier. Felix Baumgartner jumped from a balloon 128,100 feet above New Mexico and in under 10 minutes made his way to Earth. And he landed on his feet. Struggling to land on his feet is Lance Armstrong. It was announced yesterday that Armstrong has stepped down from his charity, Live Strong. This comes as several major sponsors abandoned ship. Longtime sponsor Nike is quoted as saying their decision to stop sponsoring Armstrong is a result of the seemingly insurmountable evidence that Lance Armstrong participated in doping and misled Nike for more than a decade. Armstrong says he feels it is in the charity's best interest for him to step aside and keep his controversy from overshadowing cancer awareness. In news sure to scare some of the students here, this year's wine production is expected to take a hit. Drought, frost and hail have all ravaged Europe's grape production. And for those of you drinkers that don't know, wine comes from grapes. And the European wine harvest accounts for 62% of the world's production. But before you get too worried, relax. I'm pretty sure beer doesn't grow on trees. And finally today, a bit of bizarre news that is sure to excite Lord of the Rings fans. The New Zealand town of Wellington is about to get a name change. Wellington is where the new Peter Jackson movie, The Hobbit, was filmed. And in a bit of New Zealand pride, the city is being renamed in honour of this. Wellington will become the middle of Middle-earth. But before you pack your bags and stop shaving your feet in preparation to move to Middle-earth, you should know this name change will only last 1 week when the movie premieres in November. That's all from me. Back to you guys in the studio.
A bit surprised by the name change in New Zealand. Like, surely someone would have realised it's going to be called the Model of Model Earth in a New Zealand accent. It seems weird to me. Lance Armstrong, huge news. The latest is Nike's dropped him as their spokesperson, or one of their spokespeople. Despite keeping on Tiger Woods during his controversy, there he is on an open mic night. What does everyone think about the Lance Armstrong debacle?
Well, he has stepped down as chairman of Live Strong, and I think regardless of his innocence or guilt, that was the right thing to do because he doesn't want to let this scandal overshadow really a great charity that's raised millions and millions of dollars for cancer research.
Yeah, I see that, but do you think it's sort of too little too late? Like, now that it's all blown up and it's all out in the open, now he's stepping down?
Well, it's interesting. I put a call out on my Facebook actually, just asking people their opinions, and I got some good feedback from some Griffith students. So Paz Killinger says, quote, "So he liked a little EPO, leave him alone." Philip Scott says, "Baloney, I feel bad for the guy." And finally, Logan Greer says, "Scapegoating Lance does not change the fact that the advancement of technology is making hacking of the human body inevitable." So it seems like many at Griffith are standing behind Lance Armstrong.
Oh, what do you think, China?
I just think it's horrible for all sports because this just makes you question all athletic greatness. Like, is it just not possible to be that good at a sport? Like, in 5 years from now, is it going to come out that Michael Phelps and Usain Bolt were trying these advanced drugs and that's why they do so great in their sport? I just think, I don't know, people look up to these sports and athletes and it's just a horrible thing, I think.
Yeah, I agree. He lied to his competitors. He lied to the very few people on his team who didn't actually know what was going on. But he lied to his fans, and that there is going to be this creeping cynicism, I think, in all sport, which is going to have a huge effect. But it is time for a break now, so make sure you stay tuned to more Griffith University news.
the change you'd like to see in yourself or in the world? It can happen at Griffith University. We've got over 300 degrees to help you make your first move after school or advance your career and play your part in the world. Griffith University, your world changes here.
And we're back. Welcome back to Griffith Uni News. Once again, controversial shock jock Alan Jones is in the news. He's been forced by the Australian Communication and Media Authority to undergo training to ensure his on-air statements are factually accurate and that he understands the Commercial Radio Code of Practice. The ruling comes after ACMA found that the 2GB presenter breached its code of conduct on accuracy in March last year, when Jones made a series of comments about climate change. Now, much like Lance Armstrong, Alan Jones has been in the news quite a bit lately. I think it's important to note that he has been, there he is in a perfectly framed shot.
That's a nice picture.
Yeah, definitely. You'd think, I don't know if he deliberately did that. Maybe there is a degree of self-awareness that we're not really pinning on him. What do you think, Michelle?
Well, you know what? I think it's logical. I mean, this training probably should have happened a really long time ago. I mean, as journalism students, we get trained to check our facts. That's kind of the number one thing that you have to be aware of. And while he doesn't claim he is a journalist, he's a shock jock. He has a public platform.
Yeah.
He needs to undergo the exact same training that we have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's about time for Alan Jones to call it a day and find a new profession, something where people aren't going to be hearing him talk. He just is too negative, and he's a horrible reporter. I can't stand
Definitely
him anymore.
needs to do something behind the scenes, such as flipping burgers,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yep.
That would be a logical too far.
Or making salad.
Yeah.
Just saying.
You might like that.
Yeah, but this fact checking, I mean, maybe this is something they should do for the US presidential debates. I feel like
Yeah.
that would be a step in the
Certainly.
right direction.
Cut down the time the debates take.
Exactly.
Now, what it was he did get pulled up for was misleading comments about climate change. Extremely misleading comments. He was off, with his numbers, he was off by several decimal places. And it wasn't his opinion. He was stating it as fact when it was just completely nothing to do with the science. Now, we've got Michelle coming up with the business news. So she'll be running around the studio. And yes, Michelle.
Thank you. In business news this week, Telstra Chairman Catherine Livingstone told shareholders on Tuesday that the company will begin conducting a reassessment of dividends every 6 months beginning in the 2014 financial year. The company reaffirmed this year's 28-cent dividend as profit grew 5.4% from the previous 12 months to $3.4 billion. Telstra's news regarding the fully franked dividend of 28 cents in 2013 and their intention to review the dividend every 6 months is great news for income-hungry investors. After 7 years of sales decline, Ford Australia has ambushed their competition at today's Sydney Motor Show. The company built a $1 million display geared to intercept customers before they make it inside. Inside the exhibition center, Ford has only 3 cars on display, but in a giant blue structure outside, 14 cars are on display on a site 4 times bigger than the largest display in the venue. And finally, recruitment firm Hayes, in their quarterly report on employment, has found that university graduates are finding it increasingly difficult to find professional work in their respective fields. The report found that recent graduates are considered overqualified even when searching for administration-level roles. Conversely, the professional-level roles they seek are not available to them because they lack work experience. Experts say this is primarily due to too much time spent at university and not enough work experience, and suggest that the current education model needs to place more emphasis on internships and real-world experience. I'm Michelle Mackey. That's all for now. Back to you in studio.
More good news for graduates there. Now we've got Cole coming up with some fighting words to do with the UFC.
Hey everyone, Cole here with the latest in sports news for the week. This past Saturday saw the Ultimate Fighting Championships 153rd event hosted in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. In a packed fight card, we saw quite a few great bouts. This card was full of lots of old UFC blood, guaranteeing a show-stopping evening. Here's how the night unfolded. In the welterweight division, we see long-timer in the UFC, John Fitch, defeat Brazil's Eric Silva in a 3-round unanimous judges' decision. Another old-timer bout, we see Brazil's Damian Maia, a long-standing name in the UFC, absolutely level USA's Rick Story in a quick and painful first-round submission via rear naked choke at only 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Moving up the weights a bit shows us a huge brawl, stopping at a doctor's orders at the end of round 2 between Glover Teixeira and Fabio Maldonado. Maldonado got it absolutely handed to him in this one by Teixeira, and the only main card fight of the night between two Brazilians. Teixeira brought it straight to Maldonado in the first round with a huge series of unanswered elbows to the face and a flurry of huge punches quick into the first round, followed up by another series in the second round. After a quick inspection near the end of the second round, the fight was allowed to continue for the final 40 or so seconds, and as the bell sounded to end the round, the doctor in charge called it quits for Maldonado, raising Teixeira's arm in victory. This puts him at a career high of 19 wins and 2 losses. Sticking with an evening of old UFC timer wins, Antonio Nogueira received an overly welcome break and a second-round submission win against Dave Herman. Herman was slammed by colleagues and critics after the fight for simply being out of shape and not looking like he knew what he was doing in the ring. Many people had speculated that Nogueira, in his aging status, would lose the fight and retire soon afterwards. But it looks like Big Nog will be around for a little while longer, much to the love of his fans. Heading into the main event of the night, we see Anderson Silva, the UFC's current crown jewel, bump up a weight class, fighting Stephan Bonner, and defeating him with ease in the first round. Silva showed us true athleticism and his versatility. It's not easy to bump up a weight class, let alone absolutely destroy a top contender in it. This win leaves fans to wonder what is next for the Spider, boosting him to a record high of 16 straight wins and leaving him undefeated in the UFC. For those of you wishing to catch some real-time UFC action, the Gold Coast Convention Center will be hosting UFC on FX6. The event is scheduled for Friday, December 14th, and tickets are not yet available, but the fight lineup is under change as well. But stay tuned on how to get tickets for this event. Well, that's all I've got for now, so back to you guys in the studio.
Wow, so that's coming up really soon. Hopefully, well, being indoors, I don't think the weather will be a factor, but just in case, we've got Erica to bring us the weather. Erica.
Good afternoon, I'm Erica Carrera, and for today's weather forecast update. Seems like the sun would not be lasting over the weekend in the Gold Coast, with possible thunderstorms on their way. An umbrella will be definitely handy. Today is the last day of sunshine until next week, with a chance of 0 to 1 millimeter of rain for the day, mostly fine and sunny. Temperatures reaching a maximum of 27 and a lowest temperature hits overnight with 18 degrees. A 10% chance of rain and UV index are very high, so make sure you keep your sunscreen handy. Conditions throughout the day will be mostly dry and sunny, so prepare for one of the hottest days of spring. There are hot northerly winds from Central Australia and higher temperatures over Queensland, New South Wales and Eastern Victoria. This spring is like no other, with higher temperatures reaching even the coldest states. It is expected over the week hot showers and thunderstorms around the nation. Brisbane hits its highest temperature of 29 and a lowest of 15. Down in Howard, with the lowest temperature expected to be 9 degrees, while its highest will be 16. Over in Perth, lowest temperatures with 11 degrees overnight and a highest of 23 during the day. Partially fine and sunny over the nation, so hope you enjoy the weather throughout the week. This is Erica Carrera, and that is all for today's weather. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks for that, Erica. Now we have to cut to another break, so stay tuned for more Griffith Uni News coming up next.
Being the managing director of an events management business and working with clients like Lady Gaga and Guns N' Roses isn't all rock and roll. There's serious decisions that need to be made. I've got to know what I'm doing. First place I learnt the power of knowledge was Griffith University. Griffith taught me how to apply what I know to the big picture and the big issues. I know how to find ways to keep the show on the road. Well, guess my job is a bit rock and roll then, isn't it? Griffith University. When you know more, you can do more.
Welcome back to Griffith Uni News. Now, before we finish up today, on behalf of all of the panel, we'd like to offer a big thank you to our audience and also extend an even bigger thank you to all of our hardworking crew who've worked themselves tirelessly to make this show what it is. You all deserve ample pats on the back for your efforts. Now we're closing out today's show with a special guest performance from Griffith Uni's own Jordan Lawrence. He'll be performing tonight at the Loft, I believe, and here's his latest track, Monkey.
Best to make the sunrise a favourite of your times, and you're best to keep yourself in warmer shines. 5 children were between me and the water meeting sand. I opened my hands and soul held romance, and I best keep my plans the same. Cast away this ocean and my mother's maiden name. Should have made this audience speak what I could see, and I should have used the tape recorder too. New language was unlocking, and I was unlocked too. No proof and useless, and I'm still bullshit. And this shirt, it still fits like it did, but handing in her laundry, I never could admit. What if I'd known about a comet on its way? And what if NASA listened to me say, hey, NASA, could you help us? There's a comet on its way. Clock off, time card, and buy a new car, and Time mag and autobiography about this kid who looked at stars when he was high on mushroom tea. To be angry than to swallow what you think, and you're better off to spit out than to drink. Think of all these happy people who are tumoring or dead. Mess up my bed and kick doors and get fed and cry out and see red and move on, even when the words tired of the song. So now it's indecision, it's got the best of me, and now it's suburbs whispering my ear. Fear, Wheel of Fortune watching, and my baby's out of breath. No one needs that, bills paid, new cat, and feed it and shave it clean. Reject the meows and crying and the prizes on the screen. And soon I'll be a monkey with a suitcase on my back, and soon I'll base my days around corporate tax. That's what will likely get me, and by then I won't protest. I'll number my chest and count off one less, and one day I'll fall away. Act a quiet monkey buried neath the clay, or lonesome in some glass box and wishing back my days. I'm here for the humans to know from where they came, and I pray these newer babies end up just the same.